So let's talk about Kitasan Black. A lot of people, and honestly rightfully so, have been losing a lot of interest in the game because of the Kitasan Black banner. And honestly this makes a lot of sense. They noticed how bad the rates are and got upset that they didn't get the results they were expecting. After all, Kitasan Black really only has a 0.5% chance of showing up, so even though the chance of getting an SSR is at 3%, 83% of the time you get something, it's probably gonna be something different, leading to a lot of people only really getting one Kitasan before reaching 200 pulls, or even worse, not even getting her at all. And we all know how bad Kitasan is if you don't have at least 4 copies of her, since she only gets her specialty priority at level 45, making it getting at least 4 copies pretty much mandatory. If most people are aiming for multiple copies, it really doesn't look very good for the majority of the player base. Obviously, the game has only been out for around a month, so most players won't be able to get a good amount of carrots to help them get so many copies of Kitasan Black, further encouraging the idea that the game is super predatory and awfully pay to win. While I do agree that the rates are bad and relatively predatory, this is a gacha game after all, so something like this should be expected. It could be bad with the accelerated schedule, but they have been giving away a lot of carrots lately. And of course, there is a strong focus on PvP in this game, so there will be a pay-to-win aspect to it, just like any other PvP gacha game. However, I feel like most people kinda got lost in the Kitasan sauce. Unfortunately, because of all the hype for this card and everyone saying how it's the best card for the game for years, a lot of people end up being under the impression that you need this card to play the game. In a lot of people's minds, getting 4 Kitasans was a necessity and a mandatory thing, or else you'd be doomed and you might as well quit the game. For a lot of people, if you couldn't get multiple copies of Kitasan Black, you might as well delete your account and reroll for a new one, in the hopes of getting more Kitasan Blacks. Long story short, a lot of people basically wanted whale results while being free to play. This honestly surprised me a lot and made me realize that a lot of people completely missed the point of the Kitasan banner. And this banner, the most important thing, believe it or not, was actually not Kitasan Black. The whole point of this banner was to get multiple copies of strong SR cards, like Sweep Tosho or King Halo, and, if you're lucky, get at least one Kitasan card on the side. Since Kitasan is basically useless without 4 copies, the one you got is not actually for you to use right now, but for you to prepare for the future, where you'll be able to max limit break it with the SSR selector and the limit break crystals that will eventually come out. And of course, the rerun banner for Kitasan Black will also help. And honestly, you also don't need Kitasan Black. A good example of a card you actually need is Super Creek, since she has Swinging Maestro, a skill that is basically mandatory for pretty much everyone. There are some alternatives if you don't have Super Creek, but they aren't really as good and reliable. Kitasan doesn't have anything like this. In this game, you can still be very successful even without Kitasan Black. This is because the SR cards are actually very strong and way easier to get high levels of. Just like I mentioned before, cards like Sweep Tosho and King Halo are amazing and will help you a lot. While a max limit broken Kitasan is amazing, she is not the end-all be-all of PvP. And she is only 1 card out of 5 that you need to get, so it's way more important to make sure that you get as many SRs as possible to be able to build a strong and complete deck. Now, let's go back a little bit and let's talk about rerolling for Kitasan and why it's actually a very bad idea. If you choose to abandon your old account and want to reroll for a new one, you'll start this new account with around 12,000 carrots, and the main idea is to get as many Kitasans as you can. The problem is, rerolling for 4 copies will take a very long time, because as we all know, the rates are awful, and rerolling for anything less than 4 copies won't really help you that much. And even if you happen to get the 4 copies, you will still be behind everyone else who rolled in the banner with 30k carrots, since those people, on average, will be able to get way more SR cards, while you most likely will only have Kitasan Black and a few low-level SRs, making the whole process very pointless. Of course, you could get lucky and then actually get a lot of SR cards, but again, you do need to be lucky. And of course, we shouldn't forget that we can literally just borrow Kitasan Black from someone else if you still want to use her, so you really shouldn't worry about not having your own. In any case, if you're someone who got upset over not getting more copies of Kitasan, just check your SR cards, invest in the good ones, borrow Kitasan from someone else, and wait until they release the Limit Break Crystal and the SSR card selector that will be given in the future, probably during the half anniversary. And of course, prepare for the rerun banner that will happen in the future, and you should have an almost or fully limit broken Kitasan Black. And with that, we've come to the conclusion of this video. Thank you everybody for watching, I hope you guys found this helpful, and of course, I'll see you all in the next one.